My happily married life didn't last. We have been married 2 years. I still have feelings towards my husband, but he has moved on. And I spend every day devoting myself to him. I want him to continue to see me as attractive, so I always take care of myself and look good. However, I find out that my husband an affair.
She's the love of my life. I want to...
One afternoon, I thought my husband was at work, but he suddenly came home with his divorce papers in his hands.
Since the beginning of the year, the company has been working on a new product line that will be launched in the coming months.
After our trip last year,
His lover is just sitting there with expression on her face. When John says trip, he's probably referring to our honeymoon. We had not been able to go, so when I received an unexpected bonus, John said he wanted to go, so we made a decision at the last minute. Of course, I was the one that paid. According to John, his ex-girlfriend and current lover reached out to him during our honeymoon, and that's when he realized he still had feelings for her.
What on earth are you talking about on our honeymoon?
there's no point in saying that now. She needs me too. It's just we were a little late in how we feel about each other. I do like you, but she's the one that I truly love. Gotta understand.
How can I? How did he think I would sign the D papers?
What about how I feel?
John sighs, as if he doesn't know what to say. The new version of the app is available on the App Store and Google Play. It includes a number of improvements that make it easier to use and more intuitive. The updated app also includes a new feature called My Favorites, which allows users to save their favorite recipes for quick access later. Additionally, the app now includes a search function that makes it easier to find specific Kaisenbein.
You find someone better. You probably don't want to stay in this house anymore. We'll live here, so you pack your sewn. And leave in about a week.
It's like he doesn't want anything to do with me anymore. He's the one who asked me out and proposed to me, and now he's the one who's going to. He took no responsibility for anything during our marriage, and I have a sense that all my feelings towards him are suddenly disappearing, without even a word of apology from sign the divorce papers. With this, my husband and his lover house.
We'll come back next week. Edit. So, you'll be out by then? He asks.
I feel like the inside of me is free. All of it's so sudden that I don't know where to start. And instead of feeling betrayed, I feel like I've been deceived, which makes me feel so bad for myself and the situation. The next day, I ask a friend to help gather all my belongings and return to my parents' house, because I worked as a nurse while Josh paid so well at his company. I was paying most of the bills. Although I am shocked by John's affair and the divorce, I still love him very much. I won't have to pay rent anymore. It's a great benefit situation. I've decided where I'm going to live, and I'm packing up my stuff again at my parents' house,
Kathy, can you tell me what time it is?
says my mother. It's raining outside, so I let him. She looks at me apologetically. What on earth is my ex-husband after all this time? He said I'm not the love of his life, so he can't be here to ask for me to back. If that's the case, does he want more? I feel it's rude to be making such assumption, but considering how much he spent on complaining about working while we were married, it's most natural to think that money is the reason he is here. Maybe I have something of his that forgotten, so I decide to go down to the living, hear what he has to say.
What do you want?
My father's voice is angry, but John is calm when he says, I would like to talk to your daughter. He must have a lot of nerve to be so calm in this situation.
What do you want? I'm busy, you know.
I open the door to face him, hoping this is going to be quick, and I am lost for words. There, his lover, as if she has a right to be there.
Why is she here? This is my parents' house.
Any normal person wouldn't bring this here, and it's insane that she thought it was okay to come along too. Bringing his former mistress to the that I grew up in, it's more than insulting.
Calm down.
His attitude and words disgust me, and the woman is silent this time as
Can we please get whatever you're over with as soon as possible?
possibly irritate at my attitude. John has a stern look on his face.
This is important. We haven't discussed division of property yet. I'm just here to receive my share.
Money. Just as I thought. John looks.
Yeah, you're right. Of course.
I knew he would be here soon enough, so I brought out my purse and counted out some change.
Here, this is your share.
What?
John and his new wife stare at the 3 dimes placed on the palm of his hand.
What is this?
He thrusts the coins on the floor. His new wife suddenly speaks up too.
Are you kidding me? You can't call property A.
Quit fooling around.
They are both red in the face.
That's all the savings that we had.
John must have thought there was more.
But I calmly tell him, unfortunately, that's reality.
But he snorts and looks down at me.
What are you talking about? There is no mistake here.
He waves his hands around in a frantic gesture, and his wife is standing next to him. I am shocked and stare at him, not move.
You're the one who said you wanted it as soon as possible.
He starts screaming and throwing things around, and he's a completely different person than I knew. Seeing these must be his true colors. I am so happy that I got to leave him. Hearing the loud sounds and shouts from outside, Dad who had left the room, and my brother who just got home, living room. Dad is frozen at the sight of John crazy, but he grabs his arms and puts them behind his back, stopping him from messing up any further. I briefly explain the situation to my brother, who is a lawyer, and because he knows about the divorce, understands what is going on quickly, John's new wife hears our conversation and figures out that John is a lawyer.
Hey, I've never heard of your ex-wife having a family.
Her eyes are wide and she has screamed John. I wonder why they're so persistent about money. So, although I don't want to speak WL, decide to ask John,
Why do you need the money so badly? You divorced me because you said this woman is your dreams. I will always be there to support you in every way possible.
You chose to be with her rather than A.
And that's why you wanted me to leave.
Yes, that's correct. But division of property is important. That house we have now is, in every way, better than the one you and I lived in together. So we want to build a new house we want children, so we need a car, and I want to take them on a nice vacation too, you know. I want to do the duties that any Nor husband would do, which is why I'm here, though it's me.
Every reason he mentions is so self. Okay, so he didn't want to come here, want him here either. He doesn't know how terrible what he...
And, financially supported our Mark. Handing over my share is the least I can do to thank your dear ex-husband. Don't you think?
He snorts again. What did he just say? That he will financially support us? Maybe I heard wrong. John had no will to work, and he returned home from work as soon as possible because he wanted to play online games. Whenever he didn't feel like it, he would take a day off. So he'd use up all his paid days oft enough that he'd have to pretend he had no will of earning more money. And he took full advantage of the fact that I was a nurse and was paid well. As for living expenses, he handed me 100. He felt like it. But to be honest, it was like he was an unemployed boyfriend who just lived in their girlfriend's apartment without doing anything. John never did any of the housework. Maybe I could understand if he had for my hard work. But I am so disappointed by his unreal words of financial support for our marriage.
I was the one paying the living ex. How can you say that? According to what you just said, then you should actually give me back the 30 cents that I just gave you too, you know.
What are you talking about?
You really don't know anything, do you? I was excited to tell you about my savings, but I have some bad news for you.
I am still calm, and John and his W at me. From here, my brother speaks on my...
Excuse me. I'm Henry Thompson and lawyer. Please allow me to explain on behalf of my sister. Only the savings made by the couple during their marriage are subject to division of property. This means that any money saved up marriage is not. My sister saved up the $200,000 before marriage, which means that it is her own property and cannot be divided between the two. You only had 60 cents left in your account. Therefore, your share is half of that, which is 30 cents. There's no point complaining about amount. It seems my sister was saving up for future, but I believe you spent it all on the sitting next to you.
Henry says all this very calmly, and his wife are shocked.
But I'm not sure if it's a good idea to use this method.
He tries to strike back, though.
What I just said, I said as Kathy. But please let me speak now, as an attorney. My client has requested you pay her a compensation. Why have you not made this payment?
Exactly. I had requested a compensation for my work, but they refused to pay me. John had only paid me partially. I wondered why the rest of them hadn't been made yet. That's why I officially asked my brother to step in between us. My actual lawyer is his colleague, but we had not expected John to come here today. So Henry is acting on my lawyer's bet. With Henry's razor-sharp gaze, she and his wife turned silent.
You asked for your share, but since the one who had an affair, you are the cause of the divorce. I do not believe it makes sense for ask for any amount. It seems you were spending all the money that my sister had been saving up for the two of you too, and my sister's request is that you return the total amount that you owe her, as well as paying the compensation.
That's impossible.
Honey, let's stop this. We can't go on like this.
John is standing up and kicking the table, and his wife tries to hold him down. When Henry won't budge and doesn't say a word in court, it seems that John has given up and he is speaking the truth. After the divorce, it seems he was... And since his wife is unemployed, he has been borrowing money. As a result, they now have so much that they cannot pay the compensation. When they were trying to come up with ways to make money, is there anything else you need help with? They remembered my savings. They thought I would give them half the amount if they mentioned division property. I am shocked and speechless when they change their attitude 180 degrees and beg me to help them. Next to me, my brother is shaking him, indicating that I should not listen. I don't feel any empathy for them at edit, and tell them that they still need to pay the compensation and my savings. I then ask my brother and father to see them out. These past few hours were like a storm. My mom comes back into the room with a relief and starts cleaning up.
My dad is furious, saying what a terrible thing to do in helping her.
My brother rubs my back.
You did nothing wrong. It's not your fault that the marriage ended or what happened during it. You should be confident, I say. Me.
He adds that we need to ensure that the compensation is fair and adequate. So he calls his colleague right away.
All of us at the law firm are on your side, he says.
I'm exhausted, Mom.
You did a great job. Why don't we... Do you want to go out for steak tonight? To make ourselves feel better?
I collapse onto my mom, hugging her. My dad and brother agreed to go old. We had a wonderful time for dinner night. Later, with the help of my brother, his colleague, and the law firm, the compensation and used savings are being returned. John and his wife seem to have no job interviews. I hear they've both ended up working part-time jobs now. It's unlikely that they'll be buying a car or go on vacation for a while. It seems they are finally grateful after experiencing the life they hate. When we see each other on the street, please politely say hello to me. I feel so much better seeing that at least made this slight progress. As for me, I am currently in a steady relationship. I would like to thank you for your hard work on my case. You were very professional, knowledgeable, and helpful throughout the entire process. I appreciate all of your efforts in helping me achieve a positive outcome. Henry is happy, saying that this man is perfect for me. 1 year after the divorce, I am thinking of introducing my new boyfriend to my parents soon. I am sure they will be very happy to hear from you. The reason why I feel this way is because when my ex-husband mentioned the L word, I knew it was over. I didn't really understand what he was saying. But now I feel that this man's the one who can help me, the love of my life.